Good morning. How are you going? It's Monday, Motivation Monday. I hope that you all had an absolutely fantastic weekend. I thought I'd pop in today and just firstly say hi. How's it going? It's another absolutely stunning day here today. You wouldn't know that we're 1 month out, less than a month out from the beginning of winter. It's an absolutely gorgeous day. It's quite warm. I've just come back from the gym, so I'm a bit sweaty. And I thought I'd just jump on here, say hello, and give you a little bit of motivation to get you started for the week. And what I thought I'd talk about is doing things differently. Now, I actually did a podcast on this that went out last week, and the link to the podcast is in the group. I'll find it again and I'll post it underneath this video because I spend a lot more time talking on doing things differently. But I wanted to share with you just a little bit of a story and just really talk to you about the way we perceive things and how we continue doing the same things over and over again, and then we get stressed because we're getting the same results. And sometimes that's because we actually aren't really seeing what's happening. We're only seeing what we think we want to see, or we're seeing what we want to see. Or we're hearing what we want to hear. We're not really hearing or seeing or living the truth. So what does all that mean? You know, when you drive your car and you get in your car, how many of you are 100% present to every single thing that happens when you're in your car? I'd have to say the majority of people aren't present because you learn how to drive, and if you've been like me, you've been driving for 30 years, so you kind of know exactly what you need to do. And the only time you really start to think about it is if you actually change cars and things are a little bit different and all of a sudden the indicator's on the wrong side, or if you go from driving an automatic car into a manual car, you've got to think about the clutch. So you have to become present. But other times you just get in your car, you drive to wherever you want to be, and you don't really think about it, and your mind's elsewhere. You're listening to the radio, podcast, whatever. And this is how we live a lot of our life, in that we're not being present and we just do the same things over and over again. So let me share with you just a little bit of a silly thing that I did the other day, just to illustrate this, because I have to tell you that I'm the same as everybody else, that there are times when I'm not present, I don't think, and I just repeat past behaviours. I had to pay a bill, and it was 8 o'clock one night, and that bill needed to be paid that night because it had to be paid before the next morning. I'd been a little bit slack. I hadn't got my bills paid on time, so I was running. This particular one was, I should have paid it a few days earlier, but I just hadn't got round to it. So I knew that I needed it to be paid that night. I log into my internet banking, and generally I can just log in, no problems, and it will just pay it. But every so often they put up these extra security questions. These are security questions that I answered many, many months ago, and they come up, and you've got to remember the answers and put the answers in before you can go any further. I'm like, okay, fine. What's my mother's maiden name? Put that in. What's my dog's first name? And my first dog's name? Put that in. Boom, comes back and said, no, one of your answers is wrong. I went, oh, did I spell that incorrectly? And so I went in and did again, mother's maiden name, name of my first dog, first pet, to that, boom. Then it came up with a warning message that if I did it one more time, it was going to lock me out, and then I would have to contact customer service to be able to get access into the account again. And I'm thinking, okay, I need this bill paid tonight. I don't have time to get into contact customer service because they're now closed, and I won't be able to get to them until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. So I need to get this right. So I just took a big deep breath and went, okay, fine, let's come, and I've just got to relax on this. There's no point getting stressed about it. Let's imagine that I've started this all over again. And I looked at the screen and it said mother's maiden name. So I typed that in, and I was very careful about the spelling. Then I looked at the second question, and the second question said, what type of animal was your first pet? The answer was dog. I answered it, and I got in. But my point of what I'm trying to say is that I actually didn't read that first question. I could swear to you that what it said, what is the name of your first pet? Because that's the same question that always gets asked. And that's what I saw until I really looked and became present And then when I did that, it was easy because I could see the truth. I could see the reality, not the reality that I'd created, because before that moment, I would have told you that it said, what was the name of your first pet? But it didn't say that at all. How often do we do this in our life where we've been through a situation and we just repeat the same things because that's what happened last time? So my invitation to you today is to treat every moment as if it's the first moment that you've lived. My close friend and mentor, Karen Smith, she says, imagine you just dropped out of the sky, butt naked. There's no past, there's no future. You're right here. What would you be doing right now? How excited would you be to be in your life? So just imagine you just dropped out of the sky, butt naked. There's no past, there's no future. What would you be doing right now? Would you be doing exactly what you're doing right now? Because if you're not, stop doing it. Don't do things because that's the way you've always done it. Have a look. Is there a different way of doing it? Is there a different way of being in business? Is there a different way of being a mum? Is there a different way of living your life? If there is, go out there and do it, because what you're doing right now, it's causing you stress. If there's a better way, why not try it? You can't be any worse off than what you are right now. Share with me, what are you going to do differently? Share with me in the comments underneath this video. Make this week a week of differences, a week of new starts, a week of doing things that you've never done before. Stop doing what you've always done. Start living the life that you're meant to live. Until Wednesday, I will be back on Wednesday with another video on, and we're still working through the chakras, the different foods for the different chakras, so that's what we're talking about on Wednesday. I'd really love to hear from you. Please feel free to drop some comments underneath this video. What are you up to? I want to learn a little bit more about you. Is there any, actually, while I am actually here, just remembered, I'm going to be doing a podcast. I'm actually recording it this week. If you've got any questions that you would like answered, whether or not they're around health, mindset, lifestyle, if you've got any questions that you would like answered, I've got a Q&A podcast that I'm going to be recording. So feel free to ask your questions and then I'll answer them on the podcast, and you can become famous on my podcast. How is that? So until next week, or Wednesday, I'll be back, and next week I'll be back with another motivation video. From my heart to yours, infinite love and gratitude. I certainly hope you have an absolutely fantastic week and that it brings you everything that you want in your life. Live your life to the fullest because you deserve it. Bye for now.